So this weekend, Destiny Trials Report posted this breakdown that I thought was absolutely fascinating. Just some fascinating data about Trials of Osiris over the course of the weekend that I feel like it would be a real shame if I didn't at least take a moment to break these things down and talk about these, because this is some of the most telling data we've ever seen regarding the meta in Trials. This is some of the most telling data because this is specifically subclass usage, exotic armor usage, weapon kills, and overall weapon family kill percentages. But not just for the entire community. This is only for people who had a 90% win rate in Trials of Osiris and played at least 25 matches. Okay, so this is specifically looking at what is working for good teams. That's one of the things that we a lot of times we talk about data, we talk about the numbers that we're seeing in Trials, and a lot of people always go back to that and be like, well, just remember, this is just a broad, overarching, snapshot of the entire community. This isn't representative of good players. The good players, they're doing this. So this is really honing in on, just zeroing in specifically on what good teams, good players are using in Trials of Osiris right now. And there are some things that are very different here than they are on the standard Destiny Trials Report landing page that shows the full community snapshot. And there's a couple things that really jump out at me, and we're going to talk about those things. But before I do, just a quick heads up. A lot of you guys know I've been partnering up with Flaviar. They send like whiskey samples and full bottles straight to your door at discounted prices. It's really great for people who just kind of want to experiment with whiskey, find out what they like, what their palate's like. They have this thing called their whiskey advent calendar, where it's literally 24 samples of whiskey in a box with a custom etched Glencairn glass. On my second channel, my whiskey channel that I'm going to be uploading to here next week, I'm moving into my new office that just got built. It's done after like 5 months of work for our whole home edition. I can move into my new office. I'm doing that tonight, and then I'll be get cranking on that channel as well. So I'm going to be going through those whiskeys over on that channel just for fun, just to interact with people who are into that kind of thing. So if you are interested in doing that at all with me, just use the link in the description. That's like my affiliate link that'll let them know that you came from here. And you can look at anything they've got, memberships. This, here, I'll show it to you. This is the whiskey. Oh, the green screen's going to think it's funky, but this is the advent calendar box. There's 24 samples of whiskey in here, vials. I think, what, 50 milliliters, something like that. So we'll go through these together on that channel. So if you're interested in that, click the links, check out their products. If you buy anything from them, make sure you use code TrueVanguard when you check out for a discount. That way you pay less, and I make a commission. Hey, we win-win. But anyways, back to the data here. The very first thing that jumps out to me, and this felt good to see because it sort of validated what I was feeling. A lot of people are saying that Arc Titans are busted, that they're too strong, and I'll try to show. I'll put somewhere on the screen. Somewhere on the screen, I'll put like the overall community subclass usage rates, because they're very different than what you see right here. But a lot of people are saying, hey, Arc Titan is like oppressive. It's so strong. It's overpowered and needs to be brought down. And I have been saying, I think Arc Titan is hot right now. Yes. It's never been better than it is right now. It is so good. But I said I think its usage rate is going to start to kind of come down a little bit as the Arc 3.0 hype kind of tends to subside a little bit. And sure enough, the usage percentage this week in Trials for Arc Titans did go down, 2% overall. And then among winning teams, it's down another percent. But what's fascinating to me is that the overall community snapshot shows that Sentinels, Void Titans, have a usage rate overall of 13.8%. Okay, 13.8%. But among winning teams, the teams that are winning matches, there are a lot, like not a little bit, there are a lot more Void Titans than Arc Titans. That's interesting. Way more Void Titans than Arc Titans. There's a couple reasons for that. Void Titans, and this is, I felt sort of validated here because this is the class I struggle against the most. I actually don't struggle against Void. I think Void Hunters are annoying. I think Invis is annoying, and all the the Gerfalcon stuff right now is really obnoxious. but I know what to expect. I have a chance to play against it. Void Titans to me are the most obnoxious class to play against in Trials. There's a few reasons for that. They've got the Bastion. Basically, they can spam barricades all over the map. Every lane, they'll put it on the corner so they can peek and you can't come through without taking damage, right? So they'll put that down so they get a free peek. And they get overshields like crazy, just constantly putting barricades down and getting overshields. So that when they finally decide, this is the moment I want to strike, and you don't know when that's going to be, when they finally decide, this is the moment I want to strike, they're going to challenge you. For the 1 second that you're separated from your pack, maybe someone goes to peek another angle, they pick up on that, they ape you, and they've got an overshield. And so now you're in a 1v1 duel with somebody who has more health than you. And that is obnoxious to play against. And people in Trials have started to figure out, well, not started to, they figured this out a long time ago, because this is against the teams that win a lot. There are a lot of Void Titans and have been for a while now. They have figured out Void Titan is very, very good at slow, passive, defensive play until you find that perfect moment to strike. Okay? So, there's that. The barricade overshield spam. There's also the presence of the bubble, obviously. Bubble has a shorter cooldown. And with that, you, especially on this past weekend of Trials, which was zone capture, that's a free round. You know, it's an insurmountable thing to go into a bubble, try to challenge it, and win that. There are certain tools available to you, like maybe Peregrine Greaves, but a lot of these guys who are winning lots of matches on their Void Titans, they know what the counters are. They're ready to combat it. They'll put their barricades down inside the bubble as well, so that a Peregrine Greave Titan can't just jump and shoulder charge in. They'll hit the barricade instead, and it won't apply the melee damage. So they know how to counter it. So, anyways, I thought that was fascinating. Void Titans being up at 25.5% usage rate, which is not reflected in the overall snapshot of the community, which was 13.8%. That's incredible. Another thing that jumps out at me, and you probably already noticed this too, the overall snapshot of the community, the Night Stalker usage rate, 24.8%. Basically 25%. Basically a 25% usage rate. Is that what we see among winning teams? No, we see a lot more Void Hunters. A lot. 33.3% of players. So more than 1 out of every 3... I suppose it would be exactly. Yeah. 1 out of every 3. 1 out of every 3 players who have a 90% win rate aren't just hunters. They're Night Stalkers. I've had a couple of videos. I don't want to rehash it here, but I've got a couple of videos talking about Warlocks right now. In the recent week and a half or so, I've put up 2 videos talking about Warlock balance stuff. I think Warlocks had their identity, a lot of it stripped from them, and a lot of the 3.0 kits have been really elevating the PvP side of things for the other subclasses, Titans and Hunters. But they're elevating Warlock's PvE game, but it's actually hurt their PvP potential. So because of that, we're seeing this rift where Titans and Hunters continue to go up in usage and Warlocks continue to go down. There are about 10% of the players who have won 90% of their matches or more. About 10% of them, 1 out of every 10 of them, is a Warlock. That's crazy. There are 3 times as many Night Stalkers alone as there are all Warlocks combined. That is insane that a whole class would be that poorly represented among winning teams. And I keep seeing this thing where people are saying, well, the good Warlocks are really good, though. Warlocks are just fine. The good Warlocks are really good. Look, that's not reflected here. The good teams, they're not using Warlocks. They're saying, switch off of that. Get off that junk. I need you on a Hunter. I need you on a Titan. Put on your Void Titan. Put on your Void Hunter. We're going to win this thing. You're a detriment to your team if you are playing a Warlock right now. So that's bonkers to me. That divide is so huge. So if you were to add up all of these percentages for subclass usage, here's what you're going to see. Even though Void Hunters, Night Stalkers are on top by a landslide, it's not even close. Even though they're on top by a landslide, Titans overall are actually used slightly more. You get a 46.97 usage rate, 46.97%. basically 47% usage rate for Titans overall. Hunters are at 43.2, call it 43% usage rate. So 47% of the players who are winning matches, 47% are Titans, 43% are Hunters, 9.85% are Warlocks. That divide is enormous. Enormous. That blew my mind. I mean, it kind of validated what I already felt, which feels good, but it also feels bad because I've always been a Warlock main. That's what I always go home to, right? I play all the subclasses. I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on Titan and Hunter, but I always come back to Warlock. Voidwalker's always just been my favorite thing to do. So before we progress to the other categories, I just wanted to ask, how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel knowing that there is that huge of a gap between Titan and Hunter and then Warlock way down here, not even remotely close? How does that make you feel? Do you think that's good for the game? How would you address it? What are the biggest factors? I don't I don't want to skirt over the fact that Solar Titan is on dead last with a 0.1% usage rate. 0.1. That's abysmal. And I agree, Solar Titan feels so weak right now. And I think that a lot of this has to do with the fact that I think that Solar Titans were on the cusp of being really good before Solar 3.0 hit. Like before Solar 3.0 hit, they were so close to being really good. But then they had a lot of the things that were good about them stripped from them, i.e. sunspots got mega nerfed. And that was like one of the things that could have made them super cool. Sunspots got mega nerfed. Laurel's Splendor got put in the game. The only reason I can think that Sunspots got nerfed was to make room for Laurel's Splendor, and then Laurel got nerfed. So they had a moment where they got to shine because of literally one exotic that changed things for the entire subclass. And even though the subclass got a net negative impact from Solar 3.0, everyone was focused on this one exotic that just made them... It was just a busted exotic. There's no way around it. It was busted. Got mega nerfed, and now this is where they're left. Everyone now realizes that without Laurel's Splendor, Solar Titans were always terrible after Solar 3.0. A lot of the things that made that kit good got stripped to make room for Laurel, and then Laurel got nerfed, and now the whole thing just sucks. There's no way around it. I'm going to be honest about it. I love Solar Titan. I actually prefer Sunbreaker to the other classes, but I'm maining Striker right now on my Titan because I'd be crazy not to. I'd be an idiot to be like, oh, Solar Titan, the thing that only 0.1% of people who are good at the game are using right now. I'm going to main that. No, that kit sucks. It needs love. So I don't want to skirt over that. Moving on to exotic armor. So this is actually fascinating to me. Khepri Sting is in the #1 spot. You know, Cammy predicted this too. He said, I don't think that Khepri's is being represented very well in the overall snapshot because I think that the good teams are using it a lot more than that. That's what he said. Was he right? Yeah, he's absolutely right. Khepri Sting up on top. The most you've got, look, 33% of your everyone in Trials that was winning matches, 33% of them are Night Stalkers, and almost 33% are using Khepri Sting. That's crazy to me. So almost every single winning Night Stalker is using Khepri Sting. Followed by Dune Marchers at 31.63%, followed by the Stompies at 26.71%. That's fascinating to me. You know, we've got over 50% usage rate for exotics are the top two Hunter exotics. That's nuts. 23.99% exotics equipped are Peacekeepers, followed by, which is interesting to me. I think Peacekeepers are cool because Peacekeepers don't do something that I think is gimmicky. They just really lean into the usage of SMGs. So if you're really into SMGs, hey, throw in your Peacekeepers and your gunplay just gets shot through the roof. I really like exotics that do that. They say, okay, well, if you're good with your guns, we're going to help you be even better. So don't focus on ability spam. Don't focus on doing something gimmicky. We're just going to help your gunplay get elevated. So I don't mind seeing Peacekeepers up there. I think that's pretty cool. Followed by Peregrine Greaves. Obviously, the one-hit kill shoulder charges are really helpful. Great way to get a free pick. Great way to counter bubbles if the person in the bubble doesn't have a barricade to stop you. Beyond that, you got Gerfalcon, which is down at a 12.29% usage rate, which I thought was kind of interesting to see it that low among the winning teams. Like I said, almost all of the Night Stalkers are using the Khepri Sting, but the overall snapshot is very different. The overall snapshot of the community as a whole, Wormhusk is up higher than Khepri Sting, and Gerfalcon's is up higher than everything except for Stompies. Stompies are up on top at basically a 10% usage rate for the exotics, which is that's interesting to me. So this is so much different, and I'll make sure to put the overall snapshot on the screen too, so you can compare apples to apples. These lists are dramatically different. But so Gerfalcon obviously used way less than Khepri Sting among winning teams. Overall snapshot of the community, Gerfalcon's much higher. Then you've got Ophidian Aspects. Again, that number is just barely above 10%. And the reason it's down that low is because there aren't very many Warlocks at all in the number of winning teams. Now, I do have to clarify. So these percentages are usage rates, I think, among their class. So rewind a little bit. My math would have been a little bit off when I was talking about the relationship between Khepri Sting and Void Hunters. So it'd be a third of them, basically. Because if you add all these up, it's greater than 100. 32, 31, you're already at 63, and then you've got 26, 23. So that would put you up over 100. So this isn't overall. This is overall for each class, I think, specifically. Then you've got Syntheseps. Antaeus Wards are down at a 6.25% usage rate. That's interesting because Antaeus Wards, they don't show up at all on the overall snapshot of the community. They don't show up at all. But Cammy said that as well in his video last week. He said Antaeus Wards are probably being used more than you see in the overall snapshot because good teams know how to use it well. There you go. I was in that group of 6.25%. Transversive Steps, Omnioculist, One-Eyed Mask. So all the shocking stuff is at the top. But anyways, there's your snapshot of what winning teams are equipping. Next, we got something that is not really all that shocking to me. Maybe it is to you. Sidearms on top as for weapon type usage rate. Sidearms are on top, 23.65%. So they're actually only 17% for the overall community snapshot. Again, I'll put that up on the screen as well. But the overall community snapshot has shotguns in second place at 12%. But second place here is linear fusion rifles at roughly 18%. So 18% of all. This isn't usage rate, by the way. This is not usage rate. This is percentage of actual kills. This is what's actually getting kills, not just what they've got equipped. So I should say that too. Sidearms are responsible for the most number of kills at that upper echelon 90% win rate players, followed by linear fusion rifles at 18%. The overall community snapshot linear fusions are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in sixth place with 5%. Sixth place with 5% usage rate. More than triple that among winning teams, up at 18% basically number of kills. Shotguns, 17%, which is still more than they're in second place on the overall community snapshot, but they're responsible for 12% overall kills. Among winning teams, 17%. So that's still a net positive among winning teams, followed by SMGs very closely behind. So these are your top dogs here. Linear fusion rifles and shotguns are on top. They're within 1% of each other for overall kills. So linears and shotguns. I see a lot of people saying shotguns are terrible now. They suck. They're completely outclassed by linear fusions. Among teams winning most of their matches, they're neck and neck. So shotguns have gotten nerfed, yeah. Are they killed? Are they as bad as people are saying they are? In my opinion, no. I mean, good teams are still having massive success with shotguns within a percent, within 1% of linears, which they say are astronomically busted, right? So those things are neck and neck for your special weapon. Sidearms and SMGs, the top dogs, with sidearms being on top of SMGs by, roughly 7%. Then you've got hand cannons, 7.16%, which isn't bad, but you would probably expect that to be higher on Exodus Blue. You would expect hand cannons to be higher than that, but that's not the reality right now. Hand cannons have sort of taken a back seat two other primary types right now. You've got fusion rifles, sniper rifles. Fusions are at 6%, which is greater than sniper rifles, basically 5%, by about a 1% gap there. So kind of funny to see fusion rifles on top of snipers among winning teams. I think that these tend to be the people that pride themselves on being like, no, I'm not a dirty fusion main. But when it comes to trials, I think that even that kind of player is like, no, I will do whatever I have to do, which is reflected in the Khepri, Sting, Falcon, Void Hunter. I mean, they don't care. It's not. A lot of times they like to play by this honor system, like, oh, I won't. There are certain things I just won't do, and I've had that argument before where good players will say, well, there's just certain things that we won't subject ourselves to. We won't go that low, and I'm like, oh. They weigh things very differently in their minds, and I've seen that sort of hypocrisy reflected time and time again. It's like, well, I won't do that, but I will make sure that anytime I challenge you, you can't see me, and I've got a damage boost with my absolute aim assist monster linear fusion rifle. You know what I mean? That's kind of comical to me. But anyways, fusion rifles, then sniper rifles, just below 5%. There you have it. Those are the weapons. So sidearms and SMGs with linears and shotguns. That's the meta among winning teams. I'm going to be honest, I think that sidearms didn't really need a 30% aim assist drop-off range buff. By the way, I apologize about the green screen. I'm not moved into my new office. That's actually happening tonight, like I mentioned, but where I'm at right now, I've got these two windows and these bright lights that come in from the sun coming up in the east. I apologize. There's not a lot I can do about it. But anyways, individual weapons. Shocking. Shocking. Arbalest. Lorentz driver. So, you're looking at roughly 17%. Basically looking at 17% of all kills among winning teams are special linears. That's a yikes. That's a yikes. I know Bungie officially said that they are not going to disable linear fusions. That's not on the table right now. They are working on some changes to them, but in the meantime, they don't think that they're busted enough to warrant disabling. And I understand that the way they see it is very different than we do. We see something as annoying or oppressive. We think it's busted. They see something as actually breaking a game mechanic or causing glitches. That's something that makes a gun busted and makes it need to be disabled. So they see that very differently than we do. But down in the trenches, Arbalest and Lorentz driver, I will admit, they're awful. They're just downright awful to play against. And it would be my preference if they just went away until they were fixed. That would be my preference. Obviously, that's not going to happen. They already said that they're not going to be doing that. But anyways, Drang and Funnelweb tied. Not too shocking. I know a lot of people are on the sidearms are OP kick right now, and I'm not making a stance on that either way in this video, but Funnelweb, these SMGs are still really freaking good. They're still really freaking good. So not shocking to see Funnelweb tied for number one primary weapon. It's tied with Drang. Funnelweb is nasty. You know, rangefinder, killing wind, get some great options there. Chaperone in number 5 slot, which was surprising to me. I expected Wastelander to be higher, but I did play a bunch of Chaperone teams this weekend as well. So yeah, I was on the receiving end of that slug. Chaperone is like my, well, the term for it I can't repeat because it's not family friendly. But it's just that one thing that I just hate it. You know, a lot of people have that thing. There's this thing in the game that I hate. It's not busted. It's not OP. It's not on top. But I just hate it. For me, that's Chaperone. I really hate Chaperone. I've always hated Chaperone. Playing against Chaperone, it hits just ridiculous headshots on me, and I hate it. So I will always just see that exotic and cringe a little bit. It's just a personal thing. I don't like it. Empirical evidence. I mean, I've been preaching empirical evidence for, almost a year now. 8 months or so. I think empirical evidence is the best dueling legendary sidearm in the game. So, a lot of people are on the Drang kick. Drang is exceptional, but Drang is my number 2. Empirical evidence is my number 1. So, a little bit of validation there, seeing that among the winning teams as the number 2 sidearm being used. No exotic sidearms, but you got Shira's Wrath then, which doesn't surprise me. That gun's it's just consistently exceptional, consistently an S tier weapon. Wastelander, Peace Bond, Main Ingredient, Forgiveness Adept, and the Found Verdict. But anyways, that's our meta. That's where we're at right now. Good grief, these lights are driving me nuts. But that's where we're at. What do you guys think? How do you feel? This is the meta we find ourselves in. Is it a good one? Do you appreciate the difference? Like, this isn't just a standard hand cannon shotty meta. I think I wouldn't care so much if it wasn't aim assist monsters, Arbalest and Lorentz Driver up on top. It was something that required a little bit more skill. It required more skill to pull off, then I would think I would respect it more. But I hate that linear fusions are on top, personally. I'm a sidearm fanatic, so that doesn't bother me. The sidearm usage doesn't bother me. I know it bothers a lot of people. That's totally fair, but sidearms have never been on top, except for a very brief little window before Destiny 1 died, and that's it. I think hand cannons are still good. I think they always will be, just by nature, by design. They're always going to be a good, consistent weapon. But I think it's just the fact that Arbalest and Lorentz Driver are on top that makes hand cannon usage go down. Because a lot of times you just want to swap and clean up really quick with something like a Drang. And so that doesn't surprise me to see hand cannons down. But I think that number would come back up if linear fusions were off the table and more people were using snipers and shotguns again. I think the hand cannon just couples with that a lot better. What do you think? What would you change, if anything? Do you like this? Do you hate it? You somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments section. As always, thanks so much for watching the video. I appreciate you and your viewership and support. Feel free to leave a like on the video, only if you enjoyed it. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the Crucible.